Donald Trump Jr., who was in court again this morning. There he is. You hear the protesters chanting, crime family, and that is basically what these people are, a crime family, a very dumb crime family, the Gambozos, if you will, and I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His loyal. Yes, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again.
What in the world did I just witness? Donald Trump gave one of the most bizarre and deranged speeches in the White House yet. This was for a Hanukkah party at the White House. Donald Trump started just making noises, bing, bang, bing, bang. Here first, let's play this.
But I watched him go, bing, bing. He went bing, bing, and two massive 100,000-pound bombs.
Next, he talks about his golden ballroom, and it's $400 million, and it's going to be such a grand ballroom. It's going to be impenetrable glass, he says, because this is what the American people are thinking about now. What the hell is he talking about? Here, play this clip.
For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and we're giving them, myself and donors are giving them, free of charge, for nothing. We're donating a building that's approximately 400 million. I think I'll do it for less, but it's 400. I should do it for less. I will do it for less. But just in case I say 400, otherwise if I go $3 over, the press will say it costs more. I build under budget and ahead of schedule, right, Jason? Always.
Then he brings up Miriam Adelson, the billionaire who gave him $250 million in the last election. And she says that Alan Dershowitz is here. Dershowitz, who got the massages with Epstein, but says his underwear was on the whole time. Epstein lawyer, Trump's lawyer. And then she says, I'll give you $250 million, Donald, to run again in 2028. And then people start chanting. What am I even watching right now? Here, play this clip.
And now I met Alan Dershowitz, and he said the legal thing about 4 more years. And I said, Alan, I agree with you. So we can do it. Think about it.
Alan's
and I
here
would
someplace. Where's Alan?
Alan is here, or he had a flight? Alan is here? Think about it.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be first one who told you, or second. Yeah.
She said, think about it. I'll give you another 250.
I will give.
But her husband, Sheldon, was an amazing guy.
Then Donald Trump says that he's done so much for Israel.
Jimmy Kimmel looked directly into the camera and told America that Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump just sold half of the family crypto company to an Abu Dhabi spy for $500 million. And their daddy had no idea. And then Don Jr. lost his mind. We're gonna spill all the tea here, but before we move further, I have a request to make. If you are enjoying our content and want to support us, please join the membership. That's just $9 a month. It's less than a coffee cup, but it fuels independent journalism, and soon we may also be able to serve you ad-free content here. Back to the topic. Kimmel tore into Donald Trump on his show after allegations emerged of a colossal conflict of interest in Eric and Donald Trump Jr.'s business dealings with a member of the Abu Dhabi royal family. He diagnosed Trump with a new condition. The man who knows more than the experts about every subject under the sun doesn't know about this. I think they call it scamnesia. It's a very serious condition. The one thing he doesn't know is how much money his family is making. Scamnesia. That is a medical-grade roast. And it landed because the underlying facts are absolutely damning.
Gwen Waltz, bye-bye Donald Trump. You know, it goes on and on. There's a list. We just put it out on X. All of these high-powered Democrat officials, the people that, oh, we got to tone down the rhetoric. They're the ones doing all the rhetoric, Carl. But it's typical Democrat projection, okay? They accuse everyone else of doing the things that they're doing. They scream and yell just like they've been talking about democracy and calling everyone they don't like a fascist, while censoring, jailing their political opponents, and so on and so forth.
Imagine telling somebody that your money is tied up in Don Jr. gold, right? They'd put you in a mental hospital. Jimmy, I'm the host of the show. Gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us here in the City of Angels, which we need a lot. That's very kind. I appreciate that, and I'm glad you're in a good mood. But I will tell you, at the end of last year, I had such big hopes for a better new year. I really felt like, well, how could it get worse in 2025? It can't. And now we're only 2 weeks into it. All hell is broken loose. If this was Jenga, there'd be blocks of wood all over the house. So far, in half a month, Trump toppled Venezuela. He's threatening to forcibly gobble up Greenland, and he may be about to send...
That he has to read it. Look, I have pages, he says. I have pages! Then he just starts pulling out pages. Play this clip.
Happy Hanukkah. And you know, this is the first time that I've ever brought up notes to make a speech for. We call them the Christmas dinners. I call them the Christmas Hanukkah dinners, if that's okay. I hope you don't mind. But I call them New Year's dinners too. But I've made about 20 of them so far. I never had any others. I brought this up. You know why? I've done so much for Israel that I have to read. Look at it. I got like pages. And I don't want to leave anything out. I don't want to leave Golan Heights out. I want to tell you what we did. But it's an honor to help you. I have so many friends, and a lot of you are right in this audience.
Then he has Mark Levin, the Fox host. Mark Levin then shows up, and Levin's like, yes, we have the first Jewish president. Donald Trump is Jewish. By the way, did you know today that the Coast Guard actually implemented its plan to allow swastikas, implemented its plan to allow Confederate flags and nooses? Remember when that was reported, and then Trump's regime said fake news, and then they said, no, it's true, but we're not doing it. No, swastikas, Coast Guard, while they're doing this Hanukkah party, pisses me off. Here, play this clip.
6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
Yes, sir. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged. And we found out, and you see that happening. But
and you are the greatest president.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you.
Then Donald Trump brags about all the money that Miriam Adelson gave, $250 million. And one of the things that Miriam Adelson really wanted was the embassy to be moved in Israel, the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. And that was a big push of hers. And
just 4 days before President Donald Trump took office, 2 lieutenants to a member of the Abu Dhabi royal family signed a contract to funnel $500 million into the Trump family's crypto company, World Liberty Financial. The investment was backed by Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan, brother of the President of the United Arab Emirates, and a politician who also serves as the UAE's national security advisor. In exchange for $500 million, a company tied to this spy sheikh received 49% equity in World Liberty Financial. 4 days before inauguration, $500 million from an Abu Dhabi spy to a company co-owned by Don Jr. and Eric. And what happened next? Months later, the Trump administration agreed to supply the UAE with highly coveted American-made AI chips, despite the prior administration's concern that they may fall into the hands of China.
Trump by 16 points. I'm at +3, he's at -13. It's nice, but it feels like, considering the fact that I'm not a convicted felon friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and I've never paid off a star or sent a team of masked goons into a park to pull an old lady away from her grandchildren, I feel like my rating should be higher, maybe, than...
Someone, by the way, who, if he was a king, probably would just reopen the government, but it hasn't worked that way. If he was a king, he probably would have never left the office the first time. If he was a king, he wouldn't allow his government to prosecute and persecute him.
Armed troops into the city of Minneapolis, right here in the United States. Our FIFA Peace Prize winning president posted this morning, if the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in that once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. No kidding, President DJT. As if anyone else would write that. The Insurrection Act would allow President Trump to send troops into Minneapolis to stop the civil unrest that started when President Trump sent ICE into Minneapolis to start the civil unrest. But I don't know. I guess you do have to look at it from his perspective. I mean, Trump, poor guy, he hasn't been able to get an insurrection for years. At this point, an insurrection might be the only way he can get an outsurrection. A good president right now, a normal president, will be looking for a way to de-escalate the situation, but not our Donald. He turns the temperature up on everything but his wife.
Here's what Donald Trump said. Here, play this clip.
From day one, but I think it's okay if we ask Miriam Adelson. Do you want to come up here? Come up here, Miriam. Miriam gave my campaign, indirectly and directly, $250 million. She was number one. When somebody can give you $250 million, I think that we should give her the opportunity to say hello. And Miriam, make it quick, because $250 million is not what it used to be. Okay? Hello, darling. Come on. Incredible woman with a great husband, a man that loved Israel.
Then Donald Trump said the reason he likes Mark Levin, that's how Mark Levin talks. The reason he likes Mark Levin is that every Saturday and Sunday I watch him and he says how much he loves me. So therefore, I like him. Here, play this clip.
And much more importantly, his much more brilliant wife. Where are you? There you are. Would you come on up here, both of you? Get up here. Get up here. Look. Every Saturday, every Sunday, I'm forced to watch television to listen to this guy talk about how freaking great I am. Because he does like Trump. There's no question about it.
Then Donald Trump goes into a racist, xenophobic, and hateful attack against AOC and other Congress members and says, you have to be vigilant. You have to be careful. They're anti-Semitic. Here, play this clip.
That's no longer true. You have to be very careful. You have a Congress in particular, which is becoming anti-Semitic. You have AOC +3. You have those people, Ilhan Omar, she hates Jewish people. And you have to be very careful because there's been a big change. You know, if you go back 15 years ago, I'm not Jewish, but my father was very friendly with many, many Jewish people, was honored by Federation. I would go with him to Federation of Jewish Philanthropies and many other things.
Then there's more discussion, if you want to even call it more, words coming out of his mouth about his golden ballroom. Play this clip.
I think it'll be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. But I said, who else but in our country would sue to stop a $400 million beautiful ballroom that people have been after for the White House? The White House has wanted a ballroom for 150 years.
Again, I just want you to take a step back for a second, right? While he's doing this and bragging about his golden ballroom.
So the spy sheikh buys half of Don Jr.'s crypto company for $500 million. Then Trump lifts export restrictions and ships AI chips to the UAE. And when reporters asked Trump about it, Trump said at an Oval Office press conference, "I don't know anything about it. Crypto's a big thing and they like it. A lot of people like it." He added that my sons are handling that and I guess they get investments from people. He guesses they get investments from people. This is the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world. And he's just guessing that foreign intelligence operatives have purchased half of his family business right before he took office. Drop a comment right now. Does this feel like the most corrupt family in American presidential history to you? And this is what Kimmel was dragging Don Jr. for. Because while Trump pleaded ignorance, the facts were sitting in Wall Street Journal reporting for anyone to read. Fox News contributor Andrew McCarthy wrote in National Review, "You know what the difference is between the Biden family business and the Trump family business? You'd have to add 2 digits to the sum of Biden abuses of power, foreign entanglements, and corruption alleged in the report to get near what Trump has raked in just from the UAE."
We're learning much more about the orange goblin, Donald Trump, and what went down, or more accurately, did not go down on January 6th. You may remember for 3 hours, Trump just hung out saying nothing while a violent crowd attacked the Capitol. He was watching from the White House, soaking it all in. So Liz Cheney...
He's not going to stop. He's going to keep fighting. The same resolve that he had in Butler, Pennsylvania, when he came back defiant after getting shot in the face.
He keeps claiming the protesters are paid, although they never say by who. They keep saying they're going to get to the bottom of who's paying these protesters. They can't seem to figure that out. The idea that anyone would do anything without getting paid for it, it's incomprehensible to him. It's like when you offer a dog a banana. They're like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? But in this case, he is right. Protesting, it's a hot new job sector right now. I learned this at my Illuminati meeting last night. And by the way, if you would like to be a professional agitator, Antifa will fly you to Minneapolis first class. They'll pay you 80 grand a year plus dental coverage and all the bricks you can throw. You can apply online right now at transgenderwindmills.org. Tell them Colonel Jimmy sent you. Or if you're on the other side, you could sign up to work for ICE. There are so many money-making opportunities now.
Unemployment ticked up to 4.6% today. Manufacturing seems all but in a recession right now. We're in a hiring recession in general right now. The only area where there's actual job growth is education and healthcare, two areas that are under vicious attack by the MAGA Republicans. Then you have this guy, Sid Rosenberg, goes on stage and he goes, "I love you, Donald. I love you." Play this clip.
Say a few words.
Thank you. I love him. Do you all love him? Has there been a president even close to this guy, even close?
Then Donald Trump admits that his envoy for Russia and Ukraine, Steve Witkoff, knew nothing about Russia. Couldn't even point out what cities from Russia are on a map. But Donald Trump's like, this guy's good. Let me just fact check you right there. Witkoff and Kushner were the guys laundering a Russian plan of surrender on Ukraine and demanding that Ukraine surrender all of its eastern territory, essentially, and then Putin would invade Kyiv. Fortunately, Witkoff's conversation with Yuri Yushchikov and Kirill Dmitriev were uncovered by what appears to be European intelligence services and released publicly to Bloomberg, and they were exposed in their plan to try to cause Ukraine to surrender. But here's what Donald Trump says. Here, play this clip.
But Steve's a great deal maker, but I noticed one thing about him. He had the greatest personality. He was a real estate guy in New York. He knew less about rivers and meets and bounds in Russia and the various places he's working on. He knew nothing about it. But I recognized for 20 years, I've been dealing with everybody in New York. I said, Steve has the best personality. I have other guys that are great deal makers, but you have to go into World War III before the deal. We didn't want that.
That's a Fox News contributor saying that about the Trump family, about Don Jr. and Eric, and Kimmel said it out loud on national television while the whole family pretended not to know anything about it. But the Abu Dhabi deal isn't even where the Kimmel vs. Don Jr. saga begins. To understand why this roast hit so hard, you have to go back to the full history, because these two have been going at it for years, and every single time Don Jr. comes out looking worse. The very first public Twitter battle between Kimmel and Don Jr. happened back in 2017. Donald Trump Sr. tweeted complaining about late-night comedians having unfunny and repetitive material that was always anti-Trump, and Kimmel offered to let Trump have his show if he quit the White House. "You should quit that boring job. I'll let you have my show all to yourself," Kimmel replied. Trump didn't engage, but Don Jr. jumped in, tried to shift the subject to Harvey Weinstein, and Kimmel had a comeback ready. He sent Don Jr. the widely circulated clip of his father bragging that fame allows him to sexually assault women without consequences. That was the opening move.
The only thing that would make it worse is if somebody changed the lyrics to a song by his beloved Village People to drive it home.
Taco, taco man. I want to be a taco man. Taco, taco man. Yeah. I've got to be a taco. Taco, taco man. I want to be a taco man. Taco, taco man. I've got to be a taco.
He wanted to be a macho man. We got Taco Man instead. This could be the new YMCA. They can play it at rallies. You can do TACO. Right? This absolutely unnecessary brutality that we're seeing in a lot of cities, but most notably in Minneapolis right now, where they're harassing normal people, harassing teachers and pastors, teenagers, claiming they are dangerous rapists and criminals on the street, or people are being shot for standing up for their neighbors. Not only is it disgusting, it's sad, and there's just no reason for it. We have enough problems without concocting new problems, and now he's floating the idea of skipping the next election. Trump had an interview with Reuters in which he confessed that he's worried about how his party will fare in the midterms. He admitted that Republicans are likely to lose the midterm elections through no fault of his own, of course. In fact, he said he accomplished so much that, and this is the quote, he said, "When you think of it, we shouldn't even have an election." No, when you think of it, we shouldn't have an election. When we think of it, we can't have an election soon enough. We want an election. And it's not.
I said, everybody loves Steve. He's a great deal maker, but everybody loves him. And that's what turned out to be. People love Steve. And I think we're going to be pretty close. I mean, we're going to see. I thought the easiest war to settle would be Russia, Ukraine, because they have a good relationship with Putin. It would have never happened if I were president. That would have never, and it didn't happen for 4 years.
Then Donald Trump tries to describe stealth technology. And this is where he does the bing bong bing bang thing again. And he says, you know, the thing about these stealth planes, he goes, you get to watch it. It's like so cool. You watch the planes. But when they open up, they go bing bang, and then they drop the weapons. Here, play this clip.
They can fly those things the way they can aim it at a target in the dark of night, the darkest you've ever seen. They wanted to be as dark as possible. They didn't want anything. And the only time anybody could see those planes was when those bomb chutes open up, because it becomes totally unstealthed when it goes. I explained that to Mark Levin once. You're going in, you go like this, and as soon as it goes like this, for some reason, the plane is totally visible, not good. And I watched it happening, and just, it's like I'm sitting home watching it. You know, it's amazing. The Situation Room is an amazing place. But I watched him go bing, bing. It went bing, bing, and two massive 100,000-pound bombs come pouring out. And the job they did was incredible. I mean, compare that to, I thought he was a nice man, but compare that to the Jimmy Carter attack on, that was not good, with the helicopters and the men running all over the place trying to get the hell out of there. This was not good. This was the single greatest military attack that anyone's ever seen.
Now, while that was taking place, you have Kash Patel is giving an interview on a podcast featuring Stephen. Well, he was with his girlfriend, but it had Stephen Miller's.
Don Jr. walked into a debate about his father's sexual assault admission, and he lost in public on Twitter. Fast forward to September 2025, and the feud escalates into something much more serious. Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a gunman at Utah Valley University on September 10, 2025. After Kirk's death, Kimmel said, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." After a report that assassination suspect Tyler Robinson lived with a transgender partner, Don Jr. immediately posted, "Seems like per capita, the radical transgender movement has to be the most violent movement anywhere in the world." So Kimmel was saying MAGA was exploiting a murder for political points.
More perturbed right now than Trump's most disappointing son.
And guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Trump already beat Stormy Daniels in court? Like, in all fairness, like, isn't she like paying his legal bills or something like that? I don't know.
His hands move faster than his brain. They're like, I mean, what is it? It's like if Jim Henson had no puppets. How you doing over there? I'm doing real good. The important thing for DJ TJ isn't necessarily defending his father. In the Trump family, what's most important is this.
The other thing that you should be watching is the insanity going on in the market right now. So I want to make sure that I take the time to tell you about another one of our great sponsors.
It's not the first time, by the way, that Trump has mused about doing away with elections. During his campaign, he told, he had a rally, he said, if I win, you'll never have to vote in another election again. And this kind of talk, it's disturbing even for him. So he left it to his lady chipmunk, Caroline Levitt, to try to reel that one back in.
I believe you're referring to the president's interview at Reuters last night. I was in that interview. It was a closed-door interview. Obviously, there was not audio or video. The president was simply joking. He was saying, we're doing such a great job. We're doing everything the American people thought. Maybe we should just keep rolling. But he was speaking facetiously.
A word he can neither spell nor define. He was joking. He was joking. Like when he wishes Eric a happy birthday, he's joking, okay? If there's one thing we've learned about this guy, it's that he doesn't joke. He insults people, but bringing laughter to others, not typically at the top of his list.
Are you saying that the president finds the idea of canceling elections funny?
Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose it as a question in that way.
Yeah, Andrew. You buzzkill stiff. To be fair to Andrew,
Wife is the host of the podcast, and Cash got very emotional describing how he and his young girlfriend deal with people on social media criticizing their relationship. Let's play this clip.
On a personal level, of course, I wish we didn't have to deal with the attacks. Like, she should be out there touring and crushing it on the country music stage, as she always has been, and she shouldn't have to deal with the collateral consequence of just being the FBI director's girlfriend. But I think with the hypersensitive nature of the media, especially the social media space, people come at you because it takes me back to like when I first did an investigation of consequence, Benghazi or Russiagate or what have you. They always said it's going to be the loudest when you're over the target. And yeah, it's been the loudest for us.
Then you had Marco Rubio complaining about the Vanity Fair photo of his face. It's obvious to most people that Vanity Fair deliberately manipulated pictures and reported statements without context to try and make the White House team look bad. And there's nobody more loyal or committed to Trump's mission than Susie Wiles. I don't know, Rubio, that seems to be what you look like right there. And then our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, called that, and I think you know that we've called it on the Midas Touch podcast, with the Epstein files about to be released, right? Or the requirement by law that it's released, right? With the MAGA Republicans refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies and refusing to allow a vote on it. Wag the dog. What does Trump do? Wag the dog. Basically declares war on Venezuela. Here was his post from a short while ago. Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and shock to them will be like nothing they've seen before until such time as they return to the United States of America all of the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us.
And Don Jr. was out there on social media doing exactly that, using an unverified report to smear transgender people within hours of Charlie Kirk being shot. And Kimmel called it out. The Trump administration's reaction was swift and chilling. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr threatened punitive action against ABC. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. ABC suspended Kimmel's show from September 17th through September 22nd, 2025. The government of the United States threatened a broadcast network into pulling a comedian off the air for criticizing the president's family. The ACLU called it beyond McCarthyism. The lone Democrat on the FCC board, Commissioner Ana Gomez, said this FCC does not have the authority, the ability, or the constitutional right to police content or punish broadcasters for speech the government dislikes.
Jr. was not at Daddy Donald's last night. The prodigal son was being grilled as part of the $250 million case against their business. There he is, Tiny Soprano. I wonder what's going through his head right now.
I should have worn makeup.
Oh, yeah, good one. Here's the thing about Don Jr. What he lacks in intelligence, he also lacks in charisma. So, and as with all cases involving the family Trump, DJ TJ was sworn in on an upside-down Bible. He will finish his testimony tomorrow, and then Eric will testify, and then Trump will claim he's never met either one of them. But it's getting serious. There's even some worry Don Jr. could be tried as an adult in this one. Trump was not there in person to support his sons. He had a Halloween party. Sometimes it's hard to tell when he's joking. Like, remember when he said they were eating the cats and dogs? We still don't know what that was. And by the way, a few months ago, we thought he was joking about invading Greenland. Now Marco Rubio's driving around on a snowmobile looking for a spot to build a golf course casino. You know, I never believed there's some big master plan, but maybe there is. Maybe it goes like this. Step one, you call your opponents vermin and violent, the enemy within. You say they're part of a group of paid protesters called Antifa. Step two, you send a bunch of poorly trained, heavily armed goons into cities that don't need or want them there. Step three, when the people inevitably protest being occupied by their own government, you accuse them of starting an insurrection. And then step four, you invoke the Insurrection Act, you call out the military, you cancel the elections, and you take charge for good. Oh, and also, you pretend that while that's going on, it's just business as usual.
Today, I'm thrilled to announce my plan to lower healthcare prices for all Americans and truly make healthcare affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan.
Well, say no more then.
The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from the stolen oil fields to finance themselves. Drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping. For the theft of our assets and many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, and human trafficking, the Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Therefore, today I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil intakers going into and out of Venezuela. The illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent into the United States during the weekend and that Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, and other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation, and likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You know what this sounds like? When Putin uses denazification as a pretext to invade Ukraine. Now, let me be very clear. Maduro is illegitimate. Maduro is a dictator. They don't run fentanyl or drugs from Venezuela into the United States. It's just an undisputed fact. That's when drugs aren't coming from Venezuela. So what Donald Trump is doing, though, saying you stole our oil, what Trump wants to do is launch a regime change. That's what this is all about. By the way, that's what Susie Wiles told Vanity Fair, which MAGA's all up in arms about. But yes, Donald Trump, who claims to be the peace guy, has done no real peace deals, and now he's getting us into a freaking war in Venezuela, and that pisses me off.
And what happened when Kimmel came back? He earned record ratings. 6.3 million viewers, the most watched regular episode in Kimmel's history. Kimmel looked at Trump and said, "You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. Backfired bigly every single time." The Trump family tries to cancel Kimmel. Kimmel comes back stronger. That's the pattern. That's always been the pattern. And it kept going. In November 2025, Kimmel went back at both Trump and Don Jr. on the Epstein files. Kimmel told his audience, "We are carefully following the path of Hurricane Epstein right now. It is a Category 5. It's expected to make landfall sometime very soon." He then went straight at Trump's political gymnastics, mocking the president's quick turnaround on supporting the bill to release the records. Usually, when Trump gets a bill, he declares bankruptcy and doesn't pay it. Kimmel also quipped, "Trump is not a happy little meal right now. Every time he gets asked about Jeffrey Epstein, he loses his mind." Trump fired back on Truth Social late that night. Why does ABC fake news keep Jimmy Kimmel, a man with no talent and very poor television ratings, on the air? Why do the TV syndicates put up with it? Get the bum off the air.
How you doing over there? I'm doing real good. The important thing for DJ TJ isn't necessarily defending his father and the Trump family. What's most important is this.
The other thing that you should be watching is the insanity going on in the market right now. So I want to make sure that I take the time to tell you about another one of our great sponsors, Goldco. Go to donjuniorgold.com to learn more. That's donjuniorgold.com.
Don Jr. Gold. It ain't real gold unless it's Don Jr. Gold.
Leave its military bases in the Middle East. It will provide permanent security guarantees for Iran, the Houthis, Hezbollah, the Iranian Shiite militia groups in Iraq, that Iran could keep its ballistic missile, Shahed drones, and FPV drones, that Iran will be permitted to enrich uranium. The Trump regime agreed to all of that, and then they showed up at the Islamabad in Pakistan negotiating room, and the U.S. like, yeah, we're not going to agree to any of that. Sorry. Yeah, Donald Trump may have said that, but you need to agree to our demands or we're going to kill you and we're going to blockade you. And Iran's like, good luck. See you later then. And so the question right now is, where are we? I mean, Iran says there's not going to be any further talks. They have no desire to go back and have these future futile negotiations where the U.S. now has these maximalist demands. And you may say, well, Ben, what's maximalist about the U.S. demands? The only aspect that makes it maximalist is when you agree to one thing publicly and then you change the terms on that, you lose credibility. And when you do that over and over and over again and just make up fake things that aren't real, you have zero credibility in international affairs, as well as domestic affairs, as well as life in general. The ultimate form of capital is trust, is good faith and fair dealing. And Donald Trump, his entire life has been a fraud. He's been a criminal. He's a sexual predator. He's been found civilly liable and he's made disgusting statements. He's part of the Epstein class and the lead, basically, in my opinion, a leader of the Epstein class. He's bankrupted things over and over again, and he's doing it to the United States.
He stayed up past midnight to post that. The President of the United States, after watching the show live, writing all caps posts about a man he says nobody watches. If nobody watches it, why are you up at midnight watching it and posting about it? Kimmel responded the next night by pointing out Trump's second-term low approval ratings and thanked him for watching the show live. Then he addressed Trump directly. You tried to get me fired in September. It didn't work. Mr. President, I admire your tenacity. Then he delivered the close. If you're watching tonight, which I presume you are, how about this? I'll go when you go. We'll be a team. Let's ride off into the sunset together, like Butch Cassidy and the suntan kid. And until then, quiet, piggy. Quiet, piggy. Kimmel threw Trump's own words, the ones Trump used to silence a female reporter who asked about the Epstein files, directly back at him on live television, and there was nothing Trump or Don Jr. could do about it.
This most recent video, I noticed something that I want you to take a look at.
We've seen the insanity of what's going on in the last few years, and we're just here to call that out.
Okay, now zoom in if you can, because he's got 2 empty frames on his set. Those are pictures of his friends. He's showing off all the fun times he had with Dad when he was a kid. Jimmy, I'm the host. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us at our headquarters here in Hollywood. Please relax. It was a beautiful day. It's a beautiful night. It's funny, as connected as we all are now with the internet and Etsy and whatnot, and we really don't know what's going on in other parts of the world. For instance, any of you ever been to the Strait of Hormuz? You should check it out. You love it. We used to summer there when I was a boy, but this war we are in, for reasons known only to Donald Trump, hinges now on Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz, which, for the record, was open before he started this. And now either is open or is not open. We don't know. We agreed to a ceasefire if and only if they reopen the strait. It appeared to be open briefly, but then Iran closed it because Israel kept attacking Lebanon. And now, even though it is allegedly open, there are no ships going through it. Basically, after all this, he got us constipation. And only a handful of ships have been allowed to pass through the strait. Yesterday, Trump floated the idea of a grand reopening / joint business venture with the people he's bombing, where we would...
Right now, there was also this incident yesterday. You want to talk about the height of bad faith combined with fraud and deranged behavior? So during the negotiations, the U.S. and Iran, they're in Pakistan, they're in Islamabad, right? They're having these negotiations. Then it's reported that the United States is sending 2 destroyers into the Strait of Hormuz to sweep mines during the negotiations, when there's supposed to be a ceasefire and there's supposed to be, nothing like that happening during the negotiations. So Iran sends a naval vessel, identifies these destroyers and says, turn around. turn around. Also, the Iranian negotiating team brings it up to Prime Minister Sharif, who's the main negotiator, the middleman, if you will, from Pakistan, who then tells the US, yeah, you've got to turn your destroyers around. You're not engaging in like furtive war acts right now. I mean, if there's a deal, we can deal with them removing the mines in the Strait of Hormuz. But right now we're in a negotiation. So the U.S. removes its destroyers and never really gets into the Strait of Hormuz. But then the Trump regime and CENTCOM pretend it happened. They're like, we successfully sent 2 destroyers that went east and west, and they fixed all of the mines, and they did a mine sweeping operation. It's like, that didn't happen. Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, others, reporting, yeah, that didn't happen. What happened was the destroyers showed up. They were confronted by Iranian ships. The U.S. destroyers turn around and they head back. First off, how embarrassing is that, number one? Number two, then the Trump regime lies about it. Number three, that happens during the height of a negotiation right there. So let me just remind you what J.D. Vance said before he left these negotiations. He kind of storms out and he's like, we just couldn't get to a situation where Iranians were willing to accept our terms. So when you show up with the mindset that Iran is not accepting our terms, when the idea of this whole mediation is that you and Trump begged for this thing to happen and begged Pakistan to broker it because the American markets were crashing with Iran's control of the Strait of Hormuz and how disastrous.
If you've been watching this channel and haven't joined the membership yet, now is the time. It's $9 a month, less than a coffee, and it's what keeps this independent journalism alive. Join below and let's keep doing this together. And this is the thing about Jimmy Kimmel vs. Don Jr. that the mainstream media doesn't fully appreciate. Don Jr. is not a passive bystander in any of this. After Kirk's assassination, when it was reported that the suspect had a transgender partner, Don Jr. immediately weaponized that detail to attack the entire transgender community. He's the one stoking the culture wars that Kimmel keeps calling out. He's the one out there pushing conspiracy theories, amplifying divisive narratives, and doing it all from behind the protection of the White House while his family pockets $500 million from foreign governments.
As upset as his fellow Republicans pretend to be, no one is more perturbed right now than Trump's most disappointing son.
And guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Trump already beat Stormy Daniels in court? Like, in all fairness, like, isn't she like paying his legal bills or something like that? I don't know.
His hands move faster than his brain. They're like, I mean, what is it? It's like if Jim Henson had no puppets. If it's called that, it must be great. Like the Great Depression, for instance. Let me get this straight. It took you 10 years to come up with the great healthcare plan?
The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own healthcare. Nobody's ever heard of that before, and that's the way it is.
Let me see if I understand this now. We would pay you the money in taxes, and then you'd send it back to us to buy health care? And there might be an extra step in there we don't necessarily need. And as far as details on how this great health care plan is going to work, there are none. That was pretty much all we got other than this.
Under this policy, the prices of many drugs will be slashed by 300, 400, and even 500%.
Okay, now, once again, I want to just say, in case anyone there is listening, that it is mathematically...
This war has become, this unlawful war was and was escalating and getting worse. And then you go in and say, well, why aren't you agreeing to our terms? You agreed to their negotiating framework, and then you tried to change it up on them. That's like the height of bad faith. Here's what J.D. Vance says. Play this clip.
Was there a framework on anything, and also did the Iranian frozen assets come up, and did you reach any conclusions on those frozen assets?
We talked about all those issues, Jen, and we talked about a number of issues beyond that, and so certainly those things came up, but again, we just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms. I think that we were quite flexible, we were quite accommodating. The president told us, you need to come here in good faith and make your best effort to get a deal. We did that, and unfortunately, we weren't able to make any headway. Preston.
And then J.D. Vance says, the thing that we need to see with Iran is affirmative commitments by them that they will stop enriching uranium. Well, first off, Donald Trump agreed that they can enrich uranium in the 10-point framework. That was very clearly in the framework. But from everything that I hear, from all my sources and from all the people who were around both sides of the negotiations, the enriching uranium part was actually the part that had a workable solution, because previously, Iran said that it was agreeable to not enriching uranium to make weapons grade uranium. The main sticking points from all of what I hear are two main sticking points, right? Number one was the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is controlling it. When J.D. Vance was like, well, Donald Trump wants a joint venture with you. We're not doing a joint venture. We're not doing a JV LLC with Donald Trump. Get the hell out of here. We're controlling the Strait of Hormuz.
Fox News' own Brett Baier said last year that the news media should give the business dealings of Trump's sons the same scrutiny they gave Hunter Biden's, 100%. If you're going to play it one way, you've got to play it another way, and you've got to cover all of those things, he said. Even Fox News anchor Brett Baier said it. Cover the Trump sons the same way you covered Hunter Biden. But Fox hasn't done it. Fox News programs that fixated on the international business interests of Hunter Biden are utterly uninterested in the voluminous conflicts of interest between Donald Trump and his family members and the Persian Gulf states. Kimmel is doing it, night after night, diagnosing it as scamnesia, calling it Hurricane Epstein, throwing Quiet Piggy right back at the president at midnight while Trump rage types about ratings. And every time they try to silence him, more people tune in. After the 2025 midterms, Kimmel summed it up like this: everything he touched was a loser. Trump hasn't been this embarrassed since he found out there was a Donald Trump Jr.
Not supposed to rely on a big five accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. I can pay them millions of dollars. I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors. Right? Do you understand? Like, am I supposed to know more? Oh, Don Jr. doesn't know anything about it. I'm not an accountant. I'm a business guy.
I'm a business guy who had his elbows soldered together, and now impossible to slash prices by more than 100%. 100 is all of the percents that are there. Anything more, the drug companies have to pay you. This is what happens when your dad buys you your business degree. At the White House today, Fat Albert Einstein welcomed the Florida Panthers, winners of the Stanley Cup, which he demanded they give him. Today was also the highly anticipated meeting between Trump and Maria Machado, the Venezuelan opposition leader and the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. He's been whining about not winning for the past 5 weeks. Trump said Machado was coming to the White House to pay her regards to our country. Whether she made that payment in cash or check, we don't know. But after disappearing their president, Trump refused to support Machado as the new leader of Venezuela. And some in his circle believe it's because she didn't give him her Nobel Prize. So then she said, oh, wait, you know what? I will give it to him. I will give him the Nobel Prize. And so he said, yeah, okay, then come on by. And there she is arriving at the White House today. They searched her at security, make sure she brought that prize. And she did. And so they let her in. And sure enough, she got to his office and handed over.
That's an important sticking point. And the other thing is you got to get Netanyahu to stop blowing up Lebanon and Beirut and killing all the people in Lebanon and Beirut. You promised security guarantees in Lebanon in all these areas, and you continue to engage in a massacre in Lebanon. I mean, earlier this week or last week, when there were over 250 people who were killed in one bombing run by Israel. I mean, innocent children, mothers, fathers, civilians, hospitals, schools being blown up in Beirut and in other areas of Lebanon. Those were the two main areas. But J.D. Vance, I mean, you saw the clip I showed, right? I played it.
Marshall Munir, who were both incredible hosts. And whatever shortcomings of the negotiation, it wasn't because of the Pakistanis, who did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement. And I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could. And they have chosen not to accept our terms.
That one landed so clean it could have been cut from glass. Trump hasn't been this embarrassed since he found out there was a Donald Trump Jr., the son who ran to Twitter to defend his dad and walked straight into a clip of his dad's Access Hollywood tape, the son who used a dead man's assassination to attack transgender people, the son whose name is on a company that sold half its equity to an Abu Dhabi spy 4 days before Daddy was inaugurated, and now Daddy has scamnesia about the whole thing. Share this video right now. Comment below with your favorite Kimmel roast line. There are a lot to choose from. Subscribe if you haven't, and join the membership to keep this independent coverage going every single day. Because late-night TV is one of the last places on American television still telling the truth out loud, and Jimmy Kimmel is going to keep doing it, whether Don Jr. likes it or not.